God, I really don't want to have to do this one.
You ready to die some more? Great!
Alright, fine, I'll do it. Hello everyone, Bubbles Zest here, and this is Hearts of Iron 4. Now, today's video is going to be a tiny bit different, because this is Trait Quest. What is Trait Quest? Well, if you guys remember exploring Hoi4 Part 4 from a few months ago, I talked about the Russian Provisional Government's original traits. Normally, this trait is impossible to obtain in Iron Man without commands. However, I have found a way to pull it off. So we're going to be playing as Lithuania, trying to get that trait, and maybe a few others if we can. So, let's reconvene the same as, go up to speed 5, and begin! With that done, now we're going to exile Voldemaras. With 20 command power, we can now go for the Army Defense Expert. I did think about hiring the Army Drill Genius, but I'd rather have more defense, you know. With him gone, we're now going to do the Lithuanian Activist Front. I know it doesn't sound like much, but this extra 1% recruitable population is so valuable for us. Anyway, now that we've done that, time to root out the Iron Wolf for good. Anyway, we have more than enough political power for partial mode, gonna do it. Sure, it's a bit more expensive, but I'd rather have it now. Finally, let's move on to Lithuanian Preservationism. Actually got it right this time. With that, we can now get a king for our people. Yep, we're doing a monarchist playthrough today. Been a while since we've done one of those. So, just going to quickly make my way down to support monarchism in Poland. Shouldn't take us too long. There we go. Now, for these decisions for our claim on Poland, all we're going to do is propagandize sentiment and sway generals. These two are all we need to do. We're not going to arm monarchist militants, it's a waste of time. Instead, what we're going to do is work our way down to developing natural resources. With our industry modernised, we can finally make an intelligence network. Agency, whatever. Right, with our spy, we're going to send them over to the Soviet Union. Luckily, the omnipresent NKVD has been fixed, but I am going to send them all the way over here. The last thing I want is them to get caught. Here we go, time for the Kingdom of Poland. I have seen them say yes, but most of the time they do fall to a brief civil war. But, whatever, it'll be fine. There we go. Although apparently the Polish and Polish crowns enter a union. Very interesting. No matter, let's immediately restore the Commonwealth. It's nice that Poland did this, you know. If they did the Civil War, we would have lost some of their units. But with this, we get all 40. There we go, united once more. Now let's unite some more of the Baltics, shall we, by claiming Livonia. God, you don't have the best pair of traits, do you? But you're still probably our best field marshal now. Also going to begin to break the Soviet cipher. This, more than usual, is going to be very, very helpful for us. Right, let's immediately declare war on Estonia and Latvia. Don't want either of them being guaranteed. In the meanwhile, we're going to work our way down to royal reform. This shouldn't take too long. Both of these countries are pretty weak. Yep, we've already made it to Estonia. Maybe we can capitulate them first. Nope, down goes Latvia. Let's take everything, including their tiny fleets. And let's just quickly finish up Estonia. And there goes Estonia. Oh, so now I have enough points to puppet Estonia. Forgive the annoyance, but a few times when I was doing practice games, I wouldn't have enough points to puppet Estonia. In fact, the only thing I could do was puppet them in these three states. And because that's what happened every single time, That's what I'm going to do. Is this pointless considering that we have cores in Estonia? Yeah. But is it what I'm going to do? Yep. Polish-Lithuanian Estonia and Estonia. Okay, we now have 2 spies. Let's do a collab government. I only need 1. So that's what we'll do. Anyway, time to build the ideal template. Let's edit this one. Add artillery. Add artillery. 21 width. Looks good to me. Saved. And now let's change everyone, with the exception of the Royal Guards divisions, over to that. I want 96 divisions against the Soviets' main line. So let's train up a few more. Yep, we're going to have to bend the knee to Germany this time. And now we're going to do the Forest Brothers. 10% extra attack and defense of core territory is pretty nice. Especially when you consider some of the Soviet Union is our cause now. Oh dear, because Poland doesn't exist, Germany has started World War II a bit early. Oh well, it doesn't matter for us. Germany will never come after us. And mill reformed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm here all week. Also going to do patriotic education. More recruitable population factor is always welcome. What's funny is, despite us fighting the Soviets, we could get military access and a non-aggression pact. I'm not going to do either, but just something to think about. Especially if you want to do something like a cheeky Order 66. The thing is though, doing an Order 66 would be too fast today. We actually need to take the Soviets down relatively slowly. I know it sounds weird, but it's what we have to do. Oh dear, here comes Molotov. Funnily enough, the Soviets no longer want to give us military access. What a weird coincidence. And they're now influencing our politics. How mean. Oh dear, the Soviets are justifying on us. We have only 185 days, and then they'll be coming for us. If I really wanted to, I could have hired the Prince of Terror, and that really would have slowed their justification down. But again, that's no fun. You know what, Stalin? If you want to fight, you got one. For focuses at this point, it really doesn't matter. I am going to work my way down though to Victory and Trust because it gives more XP. Oh yes, just breezing through the doctrines. Anyway, something I should mention is the fact I have built a small fort line against the Soviets. I know, it's only level 2, but it should do. You know what's annoying? I know for a fact, if I was playing the Soviets in this exact same situation, Lithuania would have gotten a guarantee from the Allies. But because I'm playing, no Allied guarantee. Come on, Chamberlain, where's my guarantee, man? Alright, Stalin, bring it on! No surprise he declared immediately. But it looks like he is struggling to push. Good. Oh, and what do you know? Stalin's naval invading us. Interesting. There we go, flushed out. But you see this? This is where the fun begins. But you see that? The Soviets have just put another unit in Riga. So what can we do? We flush it out. And it's gone. Oh, and another unit. Flush it out. It's gone. Oh, some tanks flushed out. The Soviet AI cannot tell that this port is under attack, so it will flush units in there again and again and again. Which means we basically have the whole Soviet army encircled with just one port. One port is all we need to encircle all of Stalin's units. Oh look, another one. Gone. Obviously, we do have to pay attention to our other front. We can't let that fall. But generally, I expect this front to hold without too much problems. This is why I have 2 extra armies that aren't on the front line. I was fully expecting Stalin to do a naval invasion like this, so I am guarding all of my ports. Polanga, Gdynia, Danzig, Riga. But we deliberately let him land so we could pull this off. Already he has no more than 195 divisions. You know what this reminds me of? This is a reverse London strategy. You know what we used to do to gain war score with London? It's basically that strategy, but with a port. And that's why I'm going to call this the reverse London strategy. I'm sure it has an actual name, but that's what I want to call it. But for Joseph, it's his worst nightmare. Oh, another naval invasion, but it isn't even on a port, so I do not care. Oh, do I stand corrected? Yes, he has actually naval invaded Polunga. So now we have 2 ports. Great, that'll make this even easier. Just a little spoiler, this was why my previous run of this was not very fun, because Stalin for some reason didn't do any naval invasions. That was the only run I've ever done where he hasn't done this. So to see him do this again is very, very welcome from my point of view. Okay, I'm not going to show absolutely every time we destroy Stalin's units in these ports. Let's cut to where I actually get ready to push, shall we? 3, 2, 1... And we're back. So, what's the situation? Well, we currently have 3 ports encircled. And it's gone very, very well for us. Stalin at this point has no more than 39 divisions, while we have 170. It's over. Let's go and push him. You know what the funny thing is though? We can't actually capitulate Stalin for a while though. There's still a focus or 2 he needs to do. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to push him now. We're still going to go for things like encirclements as well. It's still pretty useful. Yes, I know it's winter, but to be honest, we're so much stronger than him, it literally doesn't matter. I can't believe it. He's still putting units in the ports. You'd think he would have learned his lesson by now. 27. 27 is all he has left. Oh, that's tragic. I've never seen a Soviet Union outside of the Civil Wars being that weak. Right, I'm going to take Danzig back. We don't need that many ports encircled, you know. Oh, come on, Stalin. You cannot afford units here anymore. And Germany has just done Barb. All I need to do is make sure that the Axis have no territory down here. And we cannot join the Axis right now, I'm afraid. Annoyingly, that does mean Germany takes Polunga off us temporarily, but whatever. It's such a mild problem, I'm not going to complain. Okay, this is a funny one. It looks like the other Estonia eventually became a Soviet puppet. Yep, better flush that out. Damn, that is a big encirclement. But that's the end of Estonia. Here, Estonian puppet, you can have your cores. I know they're my cores too, but I'm feeling nice. Right, I don't think the Soviets have any more access to Riga, so let's take it. These 50-odd units will be part of the Southern Corps, basically. Their job is to secure the Caucasus, and maybe move on to the steppe if we need to. Soviet Cipher Part 2, of course. And time for the Battle of Stalingrad. Not as dramatic as in the other timeline though. It fell almost without a fight. And there we go. The Soviets are pretty much capitulated, but like I said, we can't capitulate them until the right focus is done. They might do it at the start of next year or 1943, so we got a bit of waiting to do. And finally, the Soviets are doing Stalin's cult of personality. This is the focus that has to be completed before we can capitulate them. So, we just need to wait around 35 more days. And thank goodness too, they've just done Invaders Must Die, which is wreaking havoc on my supply. Thank goodness Breaking Ciphers reveals what focus they're doing, otherwise I never would have been able to know that they had finished the focus. Right, no way the Soviets haven't finished the focus. Let's finish this. In the end, the Soviets took 3 million casualties, we took 250,000. One thing of note though is the fact that Tanatuva took 60k casualties. Considering Tanatuva only has a population of 94k, Tanatuva has effectively lost 2/3 of its population. There we go. It is done. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is give Finland all its stuff back. But most importantly, we're also going to give Romania this state, Balta Tirapasol. In Romania's focus tree, there is a war goal they can eventually get on the Soviet Union, but they can't do that focus if they hold this state. So, small price to pay, but if they have this, we're safe. And I also may as well give my Estonia the rest of Estonia. But for the rest of the Soviet Union, we're just going to puppet the lot. And may as well take their fleet. And here we go. Polish-Lithuanian Russia. Right, the next step is to integrate them. Let's do it. Let's start off by sending all of our guns and stuff. Then we'll do convoys. There we go, that should be pretty useful. And now we can send all of our units home. I'd say that went perfectly. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for much better. And there we go, integrated. Now they are the Russian Protectorate. And now it's time for the convoys. God, this is not a good Allies game, is it, if Vichy is managing to invade Ireland? In fact, the Allies have pretty much lost Africa. So yes, we are ready to integrate Russia, but there's a few things I want to do first. Don't worry, it'll only take around 20 days. There we go, Baltic Entente. And now let's immediately abandon the Entente. I didn't want any faction shenanigans with these guys. But anyway, let's integrate the Russians. And immediately release the Russians. We're going to give Russia all of their cores, even if that means losing some of Poland-Lithuania's cores. It's time to switch. And here we are, Russia, with the provisional government as the leader. And here we go. The provisional government's original trait is here. MSJ connections, desperate gambit, and dysfunctional assembly. But, because the Soviets had completed Stalin's cult of personality before we capitulated them, we now have access to all of Stalin's traits as well. So, inheritor of the mantle of Lenin, sounds like a logical trait for these guys. You really think you can just justify on us, Poland-Lithuania? You really think you can do that? Soon enough we'll show you just how much of a fool you are. Ironically, now Britain guarantees us. Under the leadership of Stalin? I don't think so. But we are going to have to do as many of the agitprop decisions as we can. We need at least 20 to get all the way down to Father of Nations. So let's do the Commonwealth so we get another slot. So, here's how we're going to deal with Poland-Lithuania. By sending them an ultimatum. Stalin never actually sent the ultimatum to us when we were Lithuania, so we can do it now. And since this is historical, they should say yes. Well, well, well. Welcome to the Union, comrade. I was going to do this at the end of the video, but they forced my hand this time. And funnily enough, because Molotov-Ribbentrop is still active, we have to give half of Poland over to Germany. Oh well, it keeps us safe. Oh hey, Mongolia will create a faction with us. You know what, let's get the gang back together. The cooler Comintern. That looks weird. But alright, I'm gonna jump ahead to getting things like Great Commander and Father of Nations. Which means, of course, Stalin is our Field Marshal. Stalin as a Field Marshal for the Provisional Government. Makes sense, doesn't it? And there goes Trotsky. Somehow, Stalin failed to get rid of him. And finally, at last, Father of Nations. I don't know how a provisional government can be a father, but they can. Apparently Poland-Lithuania is still justifying against us. How rude. And it is done. With that, the provisional government now has all of these traits. Emigé connections, desperate gambit, dysfunctional assembly, inheritor of the mantle of Lenin, great commander, and father of nations. You know, since we have 6 traits, that puts us equal with Mussolini for the most traits on a single leader, with 6. I know this isn't technically intended, but a lot of things in Hoi4 aren't intended, but they are fun to go out and do sometimes. So, until next time everybody, I thank you for watching, I do hope you've enjoyed it, and until we meet again, from me, Bubble Zest, this has been Trait Quest. And goodbye.